Hey guys, it's Rene Vila, your host here at Hooked on Mortgages, and today I'm joined by my co-host.
Hey everybody, Matt Barquette. I'm one of the LOs here at Real Mortgage.
Yeah, so over the weekend I went shopping like we always do. We went and bought groceries, and it's incredible. It's something that we do every weekend. My wife, the two kids, newborn baby. Things are out of hand. Things are super, super expensive.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I honestly avoid going to Publix. I feel like every time I go there, it doesn't matter what I'm getting. It's at least $100. I could be getting 10 things or 4 things, $100 minimum. So, it's kind of crazy, and I definitely eat too. So my grocery bill is never usually very cheap at all.
No, we know that you typically, instead of buying like one pack of chicken, you're buying like 20, 30, 40 pounds of chicken because it's on sale, and you like to stock up. You're a big dude, so you need to get a lot of chicken.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like you said, you're probably not buying that chicken from Publix. It's funny you brought up Publix. Saw an article today here. I'm actually looking at it on Instagram. It says that Publix profits are up 49% to $4.3 billion in 2023 compared to $2.9 billion in 2022.
It's a big jump.
They seems like they well, me personally, I don't shop there. I hate going to Publix. Like you said, you could buy one thing, two things, three things, it doesn't matter. You're walking out of there with 50, 60 bucks for virtually nothing. I'd rather go to Walmart, Aldi,
Costco. Got the platinum Costco membership.
Costco's dangerous, so it's kind of like Target.
I mean that hot dog though never fails.
No, the hot dog is definitely the treat there. On top of the hot dog, you get the drink for $1.50. And then if you're feeling really hungry, which I always am, I get the ice cream with the strawberries mixed in. And then you got to get the slice of pizza because I think it's only, what is it, like a couple bucks for a slice?
Something like that.
Then you get a whole pie for $10. I mean, but then again, you go to Costco and it's like you need olives for the house, and next thing you know, you have like a year's supply of olives. So it's you got to pick and choose where you're going to buy your groceries.
Agreed. I usually break it down into 2 places. So
yeah, it's a shameless plug for some stores. Doesn't seem like we'll be getting sponsored by Publix anytime soon. They do have some of the greatest subs, pub subs, whether it's the chicken tender sub,
pub sub, the Publix sushi too. I mean, the Publix cooked food though, like that's always a solid go-to.
I don't know. We've been going to Sprout lately, and Sprout Sushi, I think, gives Publix a run for their money.
But I'll still take a pub sub all day.
Yeah, pub sub. Wait, while we're on subs, pub sub or Jersey Mike's?
Pub sub.
No. I just can't. Because when I go to Publix to get that sub, you're going to want to get a drink. You're possibly going to want to get something to support it. And then back to how we were talking in the beginning. You have a $60 bill. You walked out of there with a sub, a drink, and some chips.
Yeah, but I mean, I try to have the self-control if I'm just going to get a sub. But, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
So while we're on the topic of things obviously being increasingly expensive throughout the last several years in groceries, this leads us into, people may not have the budget or the assets that they may have been able to put away a couple years ago up until today. One of the frequent questions that we get asked, we ran into the scenario today on a pre-approval. Couple, they made great money, but they didn't have any money in the bank. They may have had like $5,000-$7,000 in the bank, but they're well qualified. They have a low DTI. They need assistance in being able to buy. Are there any programs out there that we currently offer that could possibly get somebody in this situation into a home?
Yeah, and there's a few down payment assistance, as well as grant programs that are helping people, kind of make that difference up. I would say, there's one. It's about to be $7,500. That's a grant. That's pretty great. Also, the pricing is great as well. Obviously, $7,500 is not gonna. I mean, it is covering a majority of closing costs there, so that's always a solid start. There's also 3.5% being financed in the back end for a FHA loan, so it is 100% financing. There's that 3.5% is financed as a second. They also do have options that are forgivable, but I will say those rates are a little rough to go after. So I mean, unless that's the only thing you want, then so be it. And there are a couple other conventional programs out there. We're kind of seeing between $3,000 and $7,000. Just depends on kind of what bucket you fall into. Some of them are income restricted, some aren't. Some are first-time homebuyer restricted, some aren't. So just kind of, you just got to fall into the right bucket. Hopefully, you're able to fall into a couple to take a choice out of. But those are kind of a couple that I'm seeing.
Yeah, you have so you have your down payment assistance programs or your grants, and it seems like whether you go to either one of them is going to be you're going to have to repay it back throughout a certain period of time, or maybe if you refinance or if you sell during a specific period of time. And then we have these grants that are available to you should you be a first-time home buyer and you check off the other requirements to be able to get it. We also have a big one that's coming back that last year everyone, they were crazy about it. It was like an everyday question from referral partners, from buyers. It was, hey, Hometown Heroes, how much can I get? Are there still funds? I think that was like the number one question. Are there still funds? Or, hey, when is it coming back? Maybe that was the number one question. When is it coming back? So leading into the famous question, when is Hometown Heroes coming back, and what does it do?
So I don't think they have an official date out officially. I know July is when they're saying that it's going to be released, whether it's July 1st or the second week in July. I don't think there's anything official yet, but it does sound like that the county or the state is allocating funds for it. It sounds like it's probably going to be another $100 million like it was last year, which is a good thing. That lasted, I want to say, what was it, about 2.5, 3 months, I think.
Take.
So, first-time buyers will have the option to take advantage of it. Just kind of the specifics of it are 5% of the sales price. It can be either an FHA or conventional. So if you're going FHA, you do get some seller contribution, or excuse me, not seller contribution, but some closing costs in there. For conventional, it would be 5% of the sales price. So if you're buying a $500,000 house, it's $25,000. Doesn't need to get paid back. So, but there is no interest on it. There's no payment on it. So unless you sell the house, refinance the house, or you remove your homestead exemption from it, the payment does come due. And then, I mean, the guidelines are, again, first-time buyer. But again, I love how first-time home buyer doesn't really mean first-time home buyer in the mortgage world. So for everybody out there, essentially, as long as you're not on title or you haven't purchased a house within the last 3 years, you're still considered a first-time home buyer. And there's two tiers essentially for income. So we just have to see which one they fall into, and then whatever rate you have, whatever rate's shown is what you get. So you could have a 660 credit, you have a 760 credit. You're going to get the same interest rate if you kind of fall in the same bracket of income.
Yeah, the Hometown Heroes program also, it was something that was mentioned a lot last year. And one of the big things why those funds, like you mentioned, got exhausted so quickly last year was because they opened up the program to everybody, as long as they were a first-time homebuyer. They didn't own or they weren't on title for those 3 years, and they fit within those income restrictions that the program had. Prior, you had to be what it sounds like, a hometown hero.
Yeah, teacher, nurse, firefighter, cop, corrections officer, kind of going into that realm.
Yeah, so now it's wide open to everyone. You don't have to show a certificate. You don't have to show a degree. It's wide open. It's an amazing program. We're happy for it to be coming back. But it isn't the only option out there. The down payment assistance are great. The grant programs are great. And some people, let's face it, some people that do want this program, they have the assets to be able to do it. They want to take advantage of it. And in some cases, when they see that you have to pay back Hometown Heroes if you refinance in a year, should the rates get better, they are like, hey, I'd rather not. They may say, hey, let's do the grant instead. I'll get, $5,000 or $7,500 or $10,000 depending on what we can put them into. They rather do that over the Hometown Heroes.
Yeah, I mean, as long as buyers have options, it's always going to help. Obviously, it was nice, when rates were a lot lower and we had a huge, I guess, spectrum when it came to choosing which rate we would go with. We'd even be able to give some lender credit with a little bit of a higher rate, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. But obviously, right now, it's not quite the case. So, luckily, Hometown Heroes is coming back in July. We got little under, 2 months it's coming back. But again, right now there's still those options, and luckily too, we've seen seller credits is a part of some transactions to help people get to the closing table. So,
hey, you can have the one of these programs, regardless of what they are. You combine them with a seller credit, and in some cases, we've seen people come in on a $400,000 or $500,000 purchase with a couple $1,000s. So there are a lot of options out there. It's very important to explore your options. We invite people to let us know if they've heard of any programs out there. We try to have every program, but at the end of the day, there's so many different options out there. There's so many different banks that you may hear it from somewhere else.